Sometimes I'm engaged in activities for money that I would prefer not to be doing. You have said that if we find ourselves doing something that doesn't feel good, to stop. Yet I don't feel that I'm able to reach for a high enough vibration to be able to feel comfortable with stopping these activities.
Well then, what you must do is make the best of it where you are. In other words, you're right. You say, so I'm pointed upstream as I say, I don't really want to do this. And then you say, but it does give me money, but I don't really want to do this. But it does give me money, but I don't really want to do this. And then you say, how do I know what's the appropriate thing to do? I don't really want to do this, but it does bring me money. And we say, now find some way of standing where you are, not trying to take action to change the circumstance. Jerry and Esther had an enlightening experience just recently. The car that they tow behind the monster bus has a drive shaft disconnect. They pull a lever and it disconnects the drive shaft so that the transmission and everything flows freely while they tow it. And then once they unhook it from the bus, they re-engage that. And it has not been re-engaging easily. There's something out of alignment. So Jerry can always get it in, but it's required him crawling under and sort of physically, visually lining things up and pounding them into place. So they were towing from San Francisco to San Diego, and Jerry was thinking about the unhooking and the re-engaging process. And he said to Esther, we'll put it in a place where I can easily get under it. And Esther said, since we're not there yet, so we're not faced with it not re-engaging, and you're not crawling under it yet, since we haven't come to that reality yet, maybe we can envision it differently. And it was sort of startling to her. She felt this relief in the thought of that. What she was saying is, since my future hasn't happened yet, I can envision it how I want it. And in envisioning a future, which is easier to believe than a now reality, it can be purer in my vibration, which means my future envisioning is my excuse for releasing my resistance right now. And in releasing my resistance right now, I begin going with the flow. Don't you think that's interesting? So anyway, they got to San Diego and Jerry crawled under the car and banged it into place. But they had great relief in the envisioning. They had great relief in the envisioning that we are saying to them is part of the solution that they're looking for, but don't get too hung up on the solution that you're looking for. Instead, celebrate the relief that you had then. Are you getting this? In other words, what most physical beings say, yes, but I'll do this, but will it fix it now? And we say, it might not fix it now, but it will fix it eventually. It will fix it eventually. If you will use your now to positively anticipate, it must fix it eventually. It must. It just has to. The solution is there, and you will find it. And this is the big realization that Esther had, even though she's heard us say this thousands of times. The big realization that Esther had was that thought just felt better now. And what difference did it make? They had 3 more hours of driving before they had to do whatever they had to do anyway. So why not have relief now in the meantime? And so what we're saying to you is relief now in the meantime, relief now in the meantime, relief now in the meantime is going to bring you a resolution. It will. So Jerry tells the story. Years ago, he came upon a bully beating up on an old man. And Jerry was torn, sort of like the question that you ask. Seemed like no right way. I can get involved and probably get beat up a little myself. Or I can walk away and let this poor man be beaten up, which I can't stand. No right action. And we say, that's right, Jerry was going to make the world a better place. He beat up everybody who was unjust for a long time. Anybody that wronged anybody, he just beat them up. And then they went off and wronged somebody else. In other words, it didn't change anything. All it did was give him momentary involvement in something. So it feels like there's no right action that I can take. And we say, then take the best action that you can take, which means keep doing what you're doing so the money will keep flowing. But flow your thoughts about your future in a way that feel better now. So, does it feel better to say, I'm stuck here forever? Or to say, this is temporary?
Temporary.
Does it feel better to say, I should have chosen better? Or I made the best decisions I can make along the way?
Making the best decision.
Does it feel better to say, this and this and this and this is wrong with this? Or there are some aspects to this that were appealing in the beginning that are still appealing now? Mm-hmm. So what we're saying to you is, you deal with the action in whatever way you need to, but you let your big picture be about feeling better about it, feeling better about it, feeling better about it. So the question is, Abraham, I'm sitting on a park bench and I feel fear. Does that mean there's a monster in the bushes? Or do I just think there's a monster in the bushes? What should I do? And we say, run. Get off the bench. Get off the bench. You'll feel better. Well, let us ask you the question. You tell us, if you think there's a monster in the bushes, whether it's really there or not, which feels better to you? Which is upstream? To sit there and endure the monster in the bushes, or to do something with yourself in relationship? So you say, well, leaving the bench makes me feel better. And we say, then that's the right action, isn't it? And sometimes there's action that is required. But if you will let the root of all of your action be which action feels best, and then once you get away from the bench where you're no longer worried about the monster per se, he's not breathing down your neck right now this minute. Now, begin envisioning the future more as you want it to be. And before you know it, monsters will not have access to you. They'll zig while you're zagging. Does that mean all the monsters will go away? No, monsters have a right to live too. And one man's monster is another man's pet. In other words, you don't get to choose everybody else's pie.
It's very good, thank you.
Yes, indeed. So, we know what trips you up. You're resourceful beings. You've come forth into an environment where there's lots to identify. And as you sift through the variety of life experiences for the purpose of giving birth to the new idea that you can joyfully begin to move toward, we know that in that deciphering process, you must know what you don't want in order to know what you do want. In other words, this is the process of determination. We just want you to know that the non-physical part of you is very quick to get the message of what you want. You don't have to keep beating yourself over the head in order to let source energy know what you want. We heard you the first time. You want more money. We got that. And a healthy body and loving relationships. In other words, you want what you want and you are well to want it. But what we want you to understand is once you have asked, it is given. And if you would do as we do, which is then to turn your undivided attention toward what you've asked for, rather than explaining eternally that you're not there yet. Friends will say, oh, Abraham, please help me get over there. And we'll say, what's over there? And they'll say, well, I got to tell you, it's so much better than what's over here. And we say, well, let's talk about what's over there. And they'll say, all right, but I've been over here for so long and I've been so uncomfortable for so long. It's probably my mother's fault that I'm over here. And if you could, Abraham, just please tell me, what did I do wrong to deserve being over here? And we say, nothing. Let's talk about going over there. And you say, all right, I'm going to talk about what's over there, but I can't find the words about over there. So let me just tell you how bad it is over here. And maybe you can then help me figure out how I can get over there. And we say, you can't get over there if you're looking over here. You can't be pointed in the opposite direction of what you want and move toward what you want. And sometimes you just get worn down with it. We see you. Oh, it's actually refreshing when you've paddled so hard for so long that you're just weary on all levels, and then you just sort of crash. And then the well-being stream carries you for a while. And then you wake up and you pick up your oars and you start paddling again. We would like to find ways of helping you to understand that you are born to go with the flow. And when you don't, no matter what your excuse, you are not being who you are, and you will never feel good unless you let go of those resistant oars and allow yourself to begin going with the flow. It's an important point, this going with the flow thing. And the reason that we belabor it so is because we love you so much, you have no choice. You have no choice. Do you know? Do you know that you can paddle upstream your whole life, make yourself miserable for one reason or another, and when you croak, you're going to go with the flow. So, the name of this seminar is Pre-Croaking Going with the Flow. It's being who I really am now, or as soon as I can get there. So, as you listen to us, and we've been spewing processes for a very long time. Some of you have been attempting to do them all, bless your hearts. And what we're really wanting to say to you is that every process that we've ever offered, and there are many and many more coming, every process is with one thing in mind: to help you to release a little more resistance so that the natural stream will carry you. We understand so well the nature of who you are and the promise of your inheritance. And we are just eager for you to get to it now, today. But your inheritance isn't about the money, although that's there too. It isn't about the physical conditions or the manifestations, although all of that is there for you, and we want it all for you. The promise is about the joy of the flow, the eternalness of life. You didn't come into this experience to figure out where to go and get there. You came for the joyful experience of going. You came for the fun of getting in a stream, an inevitable stream of well-being, and having the ride of your life, the ride of your choosing. Imagine you get to come into a world like this with all of this stuff to choose from, and you get to birth new ideas which the universe has complete ability to assist you in fulfilling. But you didn't come for the building of the physical stuff. You didn't come to get it built. You came for the joy of the building. You didn't come to solve the problem. You came for the joy of the mind expansion on your way to the solution. You didn't come to fix things that are broken. You came to create what is new. In fact, you cannot go back and fix anything because you've moved so far from it. Nothing that you've ever lived through can be repaired or needs to be repaired or needs to be restored because it's all back there where everything that you are is downstream. So we know that we are asking for you some trust in the laws of the universe, but we really don't think that we need so much trust from you. It's not like it is a secret. It's like saying, I need to go to school to learn about gravity. Well, why? Because if I don't know, I might go up instead of down. We say, no problem. Gravity will teach you about itself. It will show you in every moment of your day. It will be consistent, and your relationship with it will be undeniable, and you will never not understand your relationship with gravity. And law of attraction is the same way. It is consistent, and it is always giving you exact feedback of what you're doing vibrationally. As Jerry and Esther are traveling from Phoenix to San Diego, they know the way. They never get lost. They never get out there in the desert, about halfway Yuma, and get disoriented in their dissatisfaction that they're not all the way to San Diego. Because that journey is quantifiable. They get it. And yet, you're on your way from powerlessness to empowerment, and you step into revenge, which is a step in the right direction. Hopefully you'll keep stepping before you act on it. But as you move from revenge into rage, into anger, into less anger, you're moving in the right direction. But if you're taking score, or worse, if people around you are saying, look at you in your anger is misplaced. I think I will take you to anger management seminars. We say, just keep going, just keep going, just keep going, just keep going. In fact, We don't even say just keep going, because the stream will keep you going. What we say is relax, 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 release, release. Try to find the better thought. Don't fight it. Don't fight it. Don't justify it. Don't defend it. Don't explain it. Don't beat the drum of it. Just relax. Let it go from your consciousness. Let it go. Let the stream carry you.